Opening remarks will be addressed by the comments I'm going to make. And where they are not, I will take one or two others that maybe there could be need to say a little bit more. Good afternoon, distinguished senators and honorable members. I'm honored to be invited to brief the Senate and House Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions on the activities of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the performance of the economy. First of all, let me give a few remarks on the global economy in order to give this its proper context. The global economy is confronted by a myriad of challenges such as dampened global trade, high global debt, rising geopolitical tension, disruptions to supply chains, and commodity markets. Cross-border capital outflows from emerging markets, uncertainty and threats to financial system stability. In response to the inflationary pressures caused by the surge in energy prices resulting from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, monetary authorities worldwide have raised policy interest rates, leading to tighter global financial market conditions and significant outflows of funds from emerging market countries. These developments have led to a strengthening of the US dollar, exacerbating inflationary pressures, while weakening currencies and depleting external reserves in many emerging market countries. As a result, several central banks in emerging markets and developing economies have implemented very restrictive policies to contain rising inflation and reduce capital outflows. We are watching global developments keenly as they hold significant influence on the domestic economy. Then let me say a few words on the domestic economy itself. The domestic economy maintained a modest growth trajectory in 2023, despite significant headwinds. Real gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 2.54% in quarter 2023, compared with 2.25% in the corresponding period of 2022 and 2.51% in the preceding quarter and 2.31% in the first quarter of 2023. The growth was on account of sustained improvement in the performance of the non-oil sector, driven by increased investments in the sector and sustained fiscal and monetary stimuli to critical sectors of the economy. Tailwinds to the outlook are predicted on short-term impact of foreign exchange reforms, PMS subsidy removal, activities in the agriculture, manufacturing and services sectors, and sustained rally in crude oil prices, improvement in domestic crude oil production, gains of fiscal consolidation, and other reforms. Headwinds to the domestic outlook remain rising energy prices, external debt service obligations, subsisting security challenges, legacy infrastructural deficit, and tightening global financial conditions, with a slowdown in consumer demand due to impact of inflation on purchasing power. Inflation. Results from October 2023 inflation. Results from October 2023. Inflation rate accelerated to 27.33% from 26.72% in September 2023. Month-on-month inflation for all measures, however, declined marginally from 2.1% in September 2023 to 1.73% in October 2023, indicating that the rising inflation trajectory will reverse in the next few months. Food and non-alcoholic beverages remain the main driver of inflation in Nigeria. There have also been notable increases in the prices of housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. Some of the accentuating factors include the rise in the domestic pump price of fuel due to the deregulation of the downstream sector, depreciation of the exchange rate, rapid expansion in money supply buoyed by the rise in budget deficits, ways and means advances, quasi and quasi-fiscal interventions, and valuation effects, structural bottlenecks, rising security challenges, and high inflation expectations. Exchange rate. Exchange rate fluctuated from 758.02 to US dollar at end of July 2023 to 849.28 in December 12, 2023. The unification of the Naira exchange rate windows in June 2023 has ushered in a new approach to the management of the exchange rate, aimed at reducing arbitrage, rent-seeking behavior, and speculation in the market. The policy aims at creating a market where the demand and supply of foreign exchange determines the exchange rate. The market-based approach adopted by the CBN has increased the efficiency in the foreign exchange market, the Nigeria Foreign Exchange Market, NIFEM. The premium has narrowed, and our focus on increasing the autonomous FX supply would lead to more stability and further narrowing of the premium. Total trade in the third quarter of 2023 stood at 18,804.29 billion. Exports were valued at 1036.60 billion, while total imports stood at 8,457.68 billion. This represents a positive trade balance, which would lead in accretion to the external reserves. Crude oil price and production. Production cuts by OPEC and allied countries have contributed significantly to maintaining prices at levels higher than the budget benchmark for 2023. OPEC projects a steady rise in global crude oil demand by about 10 million barrels per day through 2027. Prevailing fundamentals on the global oil market and the resolve of oil exporters to keep prices at an elevated level is expected to prop up international prices for the commodity. Increasing geopolitical tension underpinned by Israeli-Hamas conflict could push oil prices further in the near term. Crude oil prices stood at $82.6 per barrel at the end of November 2023. We expect less revenue from oil exports due to the production limit of 1.78 million barrels per day in 2024. OPEC approved quota for Nigeria is 1.8 million barrels per day, which is higher than the 2024 budget assumption. However, the country's production has been below these thresholds. The budget benchmark for 2023 was 1.69 million barrels per day, but the highest level of production during the year was 1.35 million barrels per day in the third quarter of 2023. The reasons for the underperformance of the oil production target include crude oil theft and pipeline vandalization, production shut-ins, and divestments by major oil companies. Central Bank of Nigeria policy strategies. The bank has implemented a number of reforms, such as liberalization of the foreign exchange market, removal of 43 items from FX restriction, and commencement of tight monetary policy stance. The bank has rolled out a number of strategies for rebuilding confidence in the Nigerian economy. A explicit focus on price stability through 1, transitioning to an inflation targeting regime, which would include, of course, the reliance on orthodox monetary policy instruments, rollback of quasi-fiscal operations, and more effective liquidity management. B, aggressive liquidity mop-up through open market operations. C, strengthening coordination with fiscal authority. And at this point, I would say that the strengthening coordination with the fiscal authority is something that we do on a regular basis. In actual fact, there are meetings between us and the fiscal authority on a weekly basis. Foreign exchange market reforms, which of course include 1, settling outstanding obligations to build confidence, and 2, implementing measures to reduce pressure and speculation. E, fine-tuning monetary policy tools, which include improving the effectiveness of liquidity management and enhancing communication with the public. I'll be happy to mention that on a regular basis, we have a liquidity management committee within the central bank, which for now meets on a daily basis at 8 o'clock in the morning to monitor liquidity within the system. Demand management measures. Tightening monetary policy stance to achieve positive real interest rates. 2, utilizing forward guidance and, very importantly, transparency. G, other measures. Temporarily halting monetary financing of fiscal deficits. 2, dismantling administrative bottlenecks. And 3, aggressive recovering of overdue loans. Then they also look at moral suasion to promote anti-inflationary policies. The issue of bank outlook. The outlook for the domestic economy remains positive. Outlook is expected to maintain a positive trajectory for the rest of the year and for 2024. Inflation pressures may persist in the short term, but is expected to decline in 2024. Exchange rate pressures are also expected to reduce significantly with a smooth functioning of the foreign exchange market. Outcomes for the economy. Distinguished senators, members of the House, the positive impact of our policies are already manifesting. Rating agencies like Moody's and Fitch Rating have expressed positive outlooks on Nigerian sovereign ratings. Indeed, their outlook reflects the possible reversal of the deterioration in Nigeria's fiscal and external position as a result of the authorities' reform efforts. The World Bank has also acknowledged that continuing on the difficult reform path is necessary to improve Nigeria's growth prospects and reduce poverty. Positive sentiments are already returning to our markets, with the Nigerian capital market at a record high and foreign portfolio investment returning with positive impacts on our foreign exchange position. By way of closing, the Central Bank of Nigeria is striving to ensure that the financial sector is sound and stable in order to not only encourage investors, but also to create an enabling environment for economic activities to thrive, create employment, and impact on the livelihoods of ordinary Nigerians. Thank you very much for listening.